Hello and welcome to Sanity Circle, and I'm very excited to have our very first podcast guest today, Sharon McMaster, who runs Kindergarten Cooks. I promised you that I would have someone who is mastering a skill, and Sharon is the master of many. So first of all, welcome very much, Sharon, and thank you for agreeing to be the first ever Sanity Circle podcast guest.
Thank you. Very exciting.
And I'd just like to start, would you just tell us a little about your business or businesses, just so we understand a bit about what you do?
Yeah, okay. So I run a community interest company called Kindergarten Cooks, and we deliver mostly after school clubs for children to learn about growing and cooking. Mm-hmm. I also run a community garden, which on a voluntary basis, which is based in Magabry, and this is for adults and children.
Yes, and I am a member of that community garden. And can you just remind the viewers when you actually started that and why you started it?
Yes, I started it, I think it's 6 years ago now, 6 or 7 years ago possibly. I started it because I had been volunteering at another community garden called Grow NI in North Belfast. I'd been volunteering there for a couple of years, and I decided I wanted to bring something similar of what they had created to my own community and my own area. And that was the inspiration behind starting the community garden.
Mm-hmm. And do you find that many people within the community have engaged with it? And was it a hard process to try to get people to engage with it, or were people enthusiastic really from the start?
It's been a not a struggle, but it's constantly changing who becomes interested in it. It's something that each community would find a different type of people or different needs. You know, the needs in North Belfast one then were actually completely different than the needs in my area. So the people that were participating perhaps in the Belfast one, we didn't have the same volume of people or footfall around the garden to maybe avail of it. So we've sort of just had to tweak it as it goes along and see, by engaging with the community, to see, well, what is it that they do want, because they're all very supportive of the garden project, but not everyone can volunteer or is making just as much use of it maybe as what they could be. So we have found that by running it at the weekends and by running special events, they are very well attended and well supported. So we're just constantly finding our way, with it, as to see really how to get the most use out of it for the local community.
And do you find that people sort of, over the last couple of years, that there's been more sort of consciousness about people growing their own vegetables from a health point of view?
Oh, yes, definitely. I mean, the inspiration obviously behind any community project for me is to appeal to the children or to families, just from that awareness of where food comes from, in today's age when a lot of food choices can be quite unhealthy. The most readily available food choices for families and children or people on a budget or that type of thing can unfortunately be quite unhealthy. So there's always something great about showing people how to grow their own food. There's something very empowering for people then to be part of that, even if it's on a small scale. It's always a very positive thing to grow something yourself that you can eat or share with others, So definitely you can see parents wanting children to be more educated about that, and to take part in, if they're growing it or they're helping with it or they're taking part, then they're actually more likely to eat the things that they've grown. And this has worked. We've tried and tested this for the last 6 or 7 years, and definitely when the kids are involved in it in any small shape or form, they're definitely more likely to eat. So of course it is popular with parents to have the children's involvement.
Yeah. And do you find that there's kids actually who are teaching their parents now about growing vegetables, and they're actually sort of teaching their parents recipes that they've learned themselves as well?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. The kids take very naturally to things, you know, as well. So, and they never forget anything you say. So if they're in the environment with me at the polytunnel or at the community garden or in the schools, and go and learn by trial and error. So the kids are doing that with me. I'm not holding an authority over them. We're all learning how to do things together, and they never forget. That's the thing about them. They never forget where we're planting things, or why it didn't grow last year, or what, you know. They just never forget the things, and I know that sticks with them at a younger age a lot better. And I can see them always retelling what's happening in the garden to their parents, you know, as soon as they see them. Similar for the cooking as well. If I do recipes that the kids understand and are easy to read for them and easy to copy, then they take them home, and I get a lot of feedback from the families to say that the parents were following the recipes too, and the kids were doing it outside of the club as well, you know.
Yeah, because I have two nephews, and even they you know, if I sort of get little seedlings, I try to grow them with them now as well, and then we can go out and check how they're doing, you know, and they're watering them and telling me all the progress, and you know, it's great. So they're learning like that all the time.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, it is. It's great.
Better memory than we have.
Definitely. It helps to have kids on board when you get to my age.
And you run summer schemes for kids as well during the summer as well, don't you?
I do, yes. We run summer schemes at a couple of the local schools where I have clubs during the year, but they're open to the whole community. So if Kindergarten Cooks isn't at your school, you can still avail of the summer schemes. The summer schemes are run by, we have arts and crafts facilitator, we have outdoor play, we have myself doing cooking, and then we have a group of volunteers that come. So they're learning skills from us as we go, and helping out with the kids. And it's a it's a good atmosphere for sure. It's really good. So it's more just, it's not lessons about growing or lessons about, it's more fun based. We've got more time. It's really about being outside, eating together, you know, and using the facilities of the school gardens, which are quite often just abandoned in the school holidays. So it's quite good to have that continuity, you know.
Yeah, and I know you started the little sort of chicken farm and garden at Moira Primary School as well, didn't you?
Oh no, I am definitely not the chicken lady. No, I'm the carrot lady, but I'm not the I'm not the chicken. No, I'm not the chicken person. I don't have a great history with the chickens. The chickens have pulled out all my vegetables and all my onions and things. No, the chickens aren't me. Sorry. They're very good for kids though, and the kids love them.
Yeah.
They do. But the chickens, you notice at Moira, are actually in a very different location than the vegetable garden. So at least we're learning.
That's actually a very good point to make. Chickens and growing vegetables right beside each other do not mix.
Not always. They're good at recycling the leftovers. They do love all that. But if they're nice free-range chickens and they're let to roam over your veggie patch, they can do a wee bit of damage, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, we keep them separate. Now.
Excellent. And I know, so you've mentioned already the Kindergarten Cooks. You've mentioned Maghaberry Community Garden. I know that you also teach yoga. So you're very, very busy. And sorry?
I do teach yoga.
You do. As well. And you've got some upcoming retreats, isn't that right?
Sorry, Alison, I didn't catch that last.
So you've got some upcoming retreats, yoga retreats as well, haven't you?
Yes, I do actually. Yeah. So I've been teaching yoga for 2 years now. I don't really run it as a business. It's just, you know, it's just a part-time thing for me. But I have started to run yoga retreats. So I've done 2 so far in Spain, in Sharon, on the 11th of October, and that's a women's wellbeing weekend. And it's really going to be a little bit of yoga, use of the hotel, spa pool. There's some mindfulness workshops on that weekend, and we're going to avail of the beautiful coastline to do some nice walks as well. So not just yoga, that one.
Yes.
Yeah. And then another one in Catalonia near Girona. There's a beautiful house there that's set up for yoga retreats, and that's going to be a 3-day retreat from the 21st of October, and it's very much about deepening your yoga practice and healthy food, and we're hoping to come home feeling super after it.
Energized. Excellent. And if people want to book those, what's the easiest way for them to do that?
Probably best, I have a Facebook page for the yoga called Sharon Rose Yoga Lisburn. And probably just to go on there and go ahead and send me a wee message through there. The email address, all the info's on there for that side of things. Otherwise, there's the Kindergarten Cooks website, sort of encompasses everything. So there's everything about the kids' classes. There's also a bit about the community gardening and a little bit about the health and wellbeing retreats as well.
Excellent. So you're obviously super busy yourself. I know that you have 3 quite teenagers. They're all teenagers, are they? Your kids?
I have 3 teenagers.
Mm-hmm. You're great fun. You're great fun.
I do. Anybody who has teenagers will know what that's like. They're lovely.
They're lovely.
They are lovely.
And we know, what do you actually do? How do you actually relax? Because you obviously have a lot going on. Is the garden the relaxing point for you? Or
I do. I like to be busy, though. I do like to be busy. That's me. I like to be busy, and everything I do is what I want to do, is what I've chosen to do as well. So I feel very blessed and very grateful that I spend my days doing all the things I like, and then finally passing on the skills that I've been taught for yoga. So I suppose, it would be yoga would be my go-to. I practice Ashtanga yoga, and I try my very best to get up early in the mornings and put in a little practice before the day starts.
Yeah.
Otherwise the day runs away with me a bit. So that's what I would do. I also I like to go away. I like to visit other places, and I like walking, and I love going to Donegal. I love getting away for little trips to Europe and things like that. So I wouldn't regularly find a little bit or take trips away. That's my way of relaxing.
That's your sanity spot. And where I know a lot of us are sort of office based, but you obviously, you're a little bit everywhere, aren't you? You're sort of very much outdoors a lot of the time, I imagine.
Yes, outdoors a lot. Around the schools, it's a mobile initiative, so I'm at different schools every day of the week, and lessons to whole class groups in one school, and then delivering an after school club in a different school on the same day. So there's a lot of moving around, but I quite like that too. It keeps you on your toes and keeps things fresh. So I'm never really stuck indoors at all, or in the one place, or with the one group of people. So might not be for everybody. I mean, I'm definitely run around like a headless chicken sometimes. but it suits me okay. I quite enjoy the variety, So my working spaces are often in a polytunnel.
Yeah.
Outside, regardless of weather, which can be a bit miserable. Squeezed into the corner of a little classroom somewhere, or maybe trying to cook in a staff room or something. So those are my working spaces. And then unfortunately I use my home as my sort of office or admin. So I would like to change that, actually, because I would like to come home and maybe leave a little bit of the business or the work somewhere else.
Yeah, no, that's very important as well. That's very important. Well, thank you very much. That was fascinating. And the idea of Sanity Circle, it's all about sort of teaching people, or sort of people together, getting back to basics and leading a simpler life in a way. So if you had to give one tip to people about how to do that, and how to lead a sort of a less hectic lifestyle, what would you say it is?
I don't know if I'm the right one to ask that question, Alison. I would say, to keep things simple, I suppose time management plays a big part, and keeping that sacred time for home life and family life outside of the business.
Yes.
And also, I mean, no matter what environment you work in, always make sure that you get, plenty of outdoor time and plenty of fresh air. And I think this is what can keep us connected, to reality. And so I would say just get some fresh air.
Yes, and grow your own vegetables.
Grow your own vegetables by all means. It's great crack.
Well, thank you very much. I'm going to end the recording now, and this podcast will be available soon. Okay?
Thank you, Alison.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.